We got a Milanista here, so we got to talk about just Pulisic and the performances from Yunus Musa. The semifinal and the final were kind of just remarkable to see, and the huge comebacks. But what is... there's an excitement, I think, for American soccer fans to see two high-profile players find some success. But as a
former national
team player and as a Milanista, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, look, it wasn't going well. Conceição, and I'm on record, he was the guy I wanted in the summer. Right, he was the guy, and Milan fans were worried about. He's arguing with the press, he's arguing with the players, but it was what that team needed. Right, it's what they really needed. And I'm looking at it now. There wasn't a lot of good football in the first the first halves of both of those games, semifinals and finals. But there was a spirit about the second half. I mean, Rafa Leao chased the guy down and pulled his hair on the sideline and tugged him down. Like, we're just happy he chased him down. Forget the rest of the stuff.
Hey, he turned back.
He went back.
I love the extra credit.
And I'm looking at it, and Conceição even said, this is not good enough in the first half. He talked after the semifinals. It wasn't good enough. We needed to pick up the energy. That's what that team needs. And to see that Christian Pulisic has been carrying the torch for that group for an entire season, I still don't think we give enough credit to how big Milan is, right, in world football.
Yep.
Okay,
historically massive.
They're historic. I mean, they won a Scudetto a couple years ago, so it's not like they've been that far off the pace of things, right? It hasn't been good, but he's been the number one guy. And then I still want to see how this turns out with Conceição, but don't minimize the fact that Yunus Musa comes on as a sub in the semifinals and gets an important moment. Okay, it was a deflected goal, I understand, but he still played well in the game, and then he starts in the finals. That's not a minor detail, right? That's a manager said, hey, I like what you did in 25 minutes, or actually it was a little bit longer, right? He came on for an injury, but I like what you did as a sub. You're going to start in the final, by the way.
Huge.
Right? So I think we know Christian is going to play. I'm interested to see now what happens with Yunus Musa.
By the way, on that, Tony, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't think we give Christian enough credit in terms of how he shows up in big games. Every time the U.S. play Mexico, I have zero doubt. You know when you say our big player, he always shows up in big moments. I think he's got an incredible appetite for the big moments in the biggest games.
I agree with you.
I love watching him.
I think he's showed up all the time. Like, every time we've asked him to show up, he's shown up, especially after the Chelsea move. This has been a wonderful move for him. I think we were starting to get to see, like, the character we kind of know he was or he could be in the club game. We're starting to see it. But maybe you guys can talk me off a ledge a little bit when it comes to, there's something else. There's another level that we want to see in the goal, the pass to the pre-assist, if you will, in the final. So I mean, what an absolute. That's the moment where I said, okay, we're starting to see him want to be that guy, but show that he is the guy. He is him. And my off, because the penalty thing still kind of lingers in the back of my head of, like, just sort of allowing that to happen. There's something about this guy, Christian Pulisic. I want to see him be like, nah, you're not going to do that to me.
Well, did you see the last penalty kick? There was no one within 20 yards.
Yeah.
There was one guy with a ball in his hand, and it was Christian Pulisic, and he was taking the penalty kick.
But you know what I mean, right? Like, just becoming
we had
an
this
authority
argument on air,
guy.
but we felt differently on air about how he should have reacted. I think we agreed on the situation sucked for everybody, but how he reacted, you and I disagreed on air about that. But this time around, right, this is the correction. And with a new manager, by the way. It's a different manager from when that all happened. So that's kind of that's steps you take in your career.
Well, one thing, by the way, I think we look back at Chelsea. We always talk about Chelsea, didn't work out. I think we're in a place now where we can look back and say Chelsea was the issue.
Yeah, of course.
Because you look at Mudryk, you look at Madueke in and out. Like, name the player outside of Cole Palmer that's come into Chelsea in those wide positions, and you're like, oh, every week. Chelsea was the issue because there's so much chop and change. So I think Christian Pulisic has put that behind him. Whether he wants to go to a bigger club, Tony, it's up to him.
Why is Inter calling? No, I'm joking.
Guys, you're not going to break me down. You're not going to do it.